Welcome everyone! Today we're going to be making some Genshin Impact tier lists. We're going to try to grow our YouTube and TikTok more, so if you could please subscribe, like, and comment down below to let us know what kind of content you would like to see, it would really help. We also stream at www.twitch.tv/Drinst, so if you would like to talk to us live, come and drop by. And without further ado, we're going to bring up the tier list. Venti has to be S tier. How could anyone argue otherwise? The first Archon we meet, one of the most beloved characters ever. Not only that, was very ambiguous on the gender, so which was a pretty rare thing in anime games. So, you know, it made the character a bit more unique. A musician, they also like to drink a bit. Very important character in the story. S tier without doubt. Diona, as we mentioned before, Diona, it's actually D tier for us. Sorry, she's not that interesting, guys. Sucrose, S tier. Rosaria, B tier. Amber, oh god, chat. For many people, Amber's like their first love, almost, as a character, because it's the first character you recruit in your party, right? So, she's not very useful, but if you needed to hit a Hilichurl or solve a puzzle somewhere, you know those annoying ass fire totems, right? The ones you gotta light up from a distance, like you have to use Amber. So a lot of people have used her, love or hate her. I'm gonna put Amber B tier. No, she's got Baron Bunny, so she's A tier. Baron Bunny's pretty cute. Klee, S tier. Dodekos, enough said. Incredibly cute as well, so definitely S tier. Jean, acting Grandmaster. Ooh, very useful meta-wise. One of the best characters to lose your 50-50 to, if you had to. I'm gonna put Jean B tier for now. I might adjust it depending what we need. Eula, fantastic design. Love her character. Meta-wise, she's terrible. I also think she's horrible to play. So, C tier. Mona. Great design. Her story's pretty interesting. Her story during the second Golden Archipelago quest was actually probably some of my favorite lore or story interaction in all of Genshin. So I'm gonna put Mona A tier or S tier. Based on personal preference. I mean, she's got a big hat. She's got like one of the biggest hats. S tier. Alright, we've got Barbara as well. Barbara, sorry Barbara fans. D tier. I know Barbara's got her own purpose in the story, but really she just feels like she exists to be a story element for Jean, right? She's not really her own unique character for the most part, at least that's what I feel. So unfortunately, Barbara, D tier. Mika, I don't know anything about him really. I haven't played the game too much since he came out, so D tier. Sorry, Fischl, great design, one of the best skins. Her Golden Archipelago quest was also fantastic, very unique. If you learn about her childhood, so definitely Fischl. Ooh, Fischl's definitely at least A tier. She might be S tier. She's still used in some teams. That's how good she is. I'm gonna put her S tier. Mona, no, Mona stays A tier. All right, Razor, C tier. Bennett, oh, he's the Pyro Archon, and his whole bad luck thing is pretty cool as well. Oh, I'm gonna make him. Let's make him A tier. If it was based on just meta, wait, how can I deny the true Pyro Archon is S tier? Right, he's S tier as well. Fischl might actually be A tier. She just doesn't make the cut. Not when compared to Bennett, Klee, or Venti. Noelle, Geomade, one of the strongest 4 stars. But she's got a lot of... she's annoying to play, even though her mechanic's very unique, which allows her to keep her ult on field when you swap out a character. But she's got a lot of energy issues, so You do have to build or struggle a bit to build her sometimes, especially as a new account. So we're going to put her B tier. Kea is C tier because he doesn't have too much relevance in the story right now. He's been in some fantastic story quests though. And as we continue in Non-Cry, or if we ever get Kanria as a region, like he's going to go up in rankings, I guarantee. Diluc, one of the best original 5-star DPSs in the game. A lot of people actually wanted to try to pull him over everyone else. Like if they were lost to Venti, they were like, oh, let's get Diluc. Especially because pyro characters were very useful in the beginning stages of Spiral Abyss. That said, Diluc has not aged gracefully, and his identity as Mondstadt's Batman isn't the greatest. I'm gonna also put him C tier actually. Albedo? To be honest, I kind of like Albedo's story. Albedo's definitely at least B tier, if not A tier. I like his whole alchemy angle. I'm gonna put him A. I'm gonna B tier, B tier. Lisa! Ooh, everyone's favorite Electro Mummy. B tier. Alloy, D tier. Enough said. Limited character, not in the story whatsoever. Just basically made to honor an agreement with PlayStation. So D tier. Zhongli. Zhongli has to be S tier. Top tier voice acting. Also, who doesn't like hearing tales of Osmanthus One? Very relevant in all the stories, especially every Lantern Festival. So, Lantern Rite Festival, we're going to put him S tier. Kaching. Ooh. B tier or A tier? I'm gonna put a B tier as well. No particular reason. I just don't feel that she's A tier for me. She was one of the first 5-star characters we got as well, and our first waifu. But technically, she hasn't had too much relevance lately. And for me personally, she's a tiny bit annoying to play because I used to always run into stamina issues, if that makes sense. Doing her hold and charge attack. Child is also B tier. Right. Ningguang? Ooh, Ningguang? Very relevant in the story. Very useful at the start of the game as pretty much almost the only Geo DPS you had, unless you got lucky and you got enough constellations to really make use of Noelle. I'm gonna put a B tier. For the longest time, he was one of the best, most useful characters ever, especially if you needed to use him in the Rational team. He has to be minimum A tier. Story was pretty interesting as well, being with the Merchant Guild. I know it's not based purely on meta, but I always found the character fun to play, so I thought his game mechanics were pretty useful as well, so I'm going to put him A tier. Ganyu. Oh, first waifu. Reminded me of Rei from Evangelion. Hu Tao, S tier. No contest. She's got an adorable ghost. One of the most popular characters to ever exist in Genshin. Design is fantastic. The cutest eyes ever. One of the best outfits. Her hat is lovely. She's so relevant to the story. She had one of the best Lantern Rite story arcs as well. So definitely S tier. In fact, if there was an SS tier, Hu Tao would go up there for sure. Zhao? Zhao's pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of his edgy personality, but he was one of the first husbandos, and his story is pretty good. Like, I'm gonna put him B tier, but I'm very tempted to put him A tier actually. Oh, Cloud Retainer. I like her character design a lot. She also buffs Zhao, but that's pretty much all she does. She's a character that represents a very specific or niche meta support. Well, I mean, not meta, because she's not really meta, but you guys know what I mean. She's a Zhao buffer bot, and that's it. I'm gonna put a C tier. Okay, Gaming. Yato. His ult's pretty cool. He's got a very unique gameplay mechanic in that sense. They tried to do some pretty cool stuff with him. And if people remember the leaks that came out before he was released, with him and the whirlpool and the horse and everything, bit of a throwback to the leak era. I'm gonna put him C tier. Heizu, sorry, I'm not a big fan of the detective guy, although he does get some points for being a unique, like a fist-based catalyst user, right? I'm gonna put him D tier. Nahida, okay, S tier. She's been corrupted by Lorma still, but how can you not love the cutest character that Genshin's ever released, apart from maybe Aino? Favorite Dendro Archon, her story during the Archon quest of Sumeru was heartbreaking until the end. If you did not feel sad at what happened to Nahida, you don't have a heart. It's just some of the, in my opinion, some of the best writing Genshin's ever had. So I'm gonna put her in S tier, and if anyone disagrees, you can fight me. Alright, Tignari. Ooh. I actually find him kind of fun to play. He's minimum B tier, he might be A tier for me. I like his ears. No, I'm gonna put him B tier. Okay, Kole? Kole is minimum B tier as well. Her Baron bunny, like pet, is very cute. Her voice lines are fantastic. But she kind of is, you know what? We'll put her in A tier along with her bestie Amber. We won't split them up. I don't hate many designs, but I hate Dory's design. So, and I'm not the best fan of her. Okay, I think the voice actress did a pretty good job. I imagine that's what the director or the voice director wanted them to do, but it's just, it does grate on my nerves slightly, so I'm gonna put her in D tier. Cephos, to be honest, this is the character I probably know the least about. Doesn't strike me as anything amazing. I'm just putting him in D tier. Sino, so I love the dad jokes. His importance in the story was pretty big. Design is alright, decent. I'm gonna put him C tier. Nilu, one of the best skins in the game, I have to say. Still meta for Dendro reactions. Beautiful. I'm gonna put a B tier, but it might almost be A tier. Alright, Candace. Ooh, C tier. And actually, I like the design. Heterochromia is pretty cool. Was it heterochondria? I think it's heterochondria. Design is pretty cool. I'm gonna put a C tier. Alright. And I'm gonna have to speed this up. Layla, I don't know too much about her. The moon motive's interesting, but I think she's pretty lackluster, so I'm gonna put a D tier. Wanderer, one of the main characters of the Sumeru story. His redemption arc was a unique take, especially for a Genshin story. A straight up villain, one of the first playable Fatui characters, redeemed. I'm going to put him, I would put him C tier, but his hat's so big. He has to be at least B tier. As far as that, I like her design, but she's also not too relevant to the character. Not to the character, to the story, since she appeared, C tier. Our Hey Firm, good design. One of the first male characters which had a tiny bit more muscle on him, which at the time was rare. People used to always talk about Ito's noodle arms. So I'm gonna put him... You know, I'll put him C tier. Dea! Okay. So, Dea, her design is fantastic, but she's pretty much unusable. Or she's not very useful until you get a C6. How many people are gonna get her to C6? Her playstyle was also not too bad. It's a bit clunky. Personally, I will put a B tier. Kavia, I'm sorry. I'm not a fan. Apologies for those. He gets points for his interactions with Al-Haytham, but that's pretty much the only value to his character. Al-Haytham's his crutch. If you took Al-Haytham out of the story, Kavia would be a non-character. So he's D tier. Farina, S tier. Nothing more needs to be said. One of the most loved and popular characters and meta-defining characters that have ever existed in Genshin. Her Archon quest, although I haven't actually finished it, but from what I've seen of it so far, is fantastic. Her design is very unique. No other character plays like her. And her troop, her pets, adorable. Not only that, she allows overworld exploration in the form of water walking. So S tier, 100%. Arlenchina, for me personally, S tier. While she's been crept slightly as top DPS in the game, no one can deny the power or appeal of a sexy boss lady. Not only that, she's one of the strongest characters in the universe, incredibly fun to play, very versatile with a lot of teams if you have her at C2 as well. And once again, buttload of damage. So definitely S tier. Imel, she's very useful for burn teams or Burgeon teams. Her design's okay. Like, she has a place, but it's very niche. I'm gonna put a C tier. And this guy, I can't remember him. I know he comes from Fontaine. Feminine is going to be D tier. I'm sorry. Like, okay, to be fair, I remember his story along with the other orphans was pretty decent, but I never got to finish it. And I don't think he's very meta. I don't think he's fun to play. I'm gonna have to put him D tier, even though his penguin almost saves him and put him C tier, but he's gonna be D tier. Nouvellette. Ooh, favorite amongst many. I like his voice actor. I think his lore is incredible. Very strong figure in the story. I'm gonna put him A tier. Definitely A tier. Also very fun to play. Linny. Oh, I'm gonna put Linny C tier. I'm sorry. I like his ult and his cat. They're pretty cool. His magician theme as well. But personally for me, C tier. Riversley. Oh, everyone's favorite cake man. If we were counting just the rear view, oh, he would be S tier for sure. Meta-wise, he is usable, especially with Escovier. His voice actor does one of the better jobs in Genshin, I feel. I'm gonna put him, but I personally don't find anything too amazing about him apart from his aesthetics. I'm gonna put him B tier. Okay, Lynette. I'm gonna actually put her above Linny. B tier. Yeah, I'll put her B tier. Charlotte, the camera approach and her story as a journalist appealed to me. She wasn't the greatest meta-wise, but she was pretty useful for Farina when Farina came out. I'm gonna put her B tier. Alright, Navia, A tier. Almost tempted to put S tier. One of the most beautiful characters ever released in the game. Also pretty fun to play. And for a while, there weren't too many Geo DPS units when she came out. There was pretty much Ito and her. At least for main DPS. Like, none of the other options were really that competitive. Albedo was always pretty much just support. Chiori was never the greatest at DPS. She was basically just newer Albedo. So she didn't count. So if you didn't have Ito, Navia was likely to be your go-to Geo DPS. So we're gonna put her A. Charisse. if I pronounced it correctly. I'm not a fan of her design, I'm sorry. She's not too bad to play, but I also find her slightly annoying in that regard. I'm gonna put her D tier. So this one's gonna be slightly controversial because I know she's a favorite for many people, but for me personally, Clorinde, I do not like Clorinde. I'm gonna put a D tier, and I think this one might get a comment or two, but I don't like her design that much. She's got a hat that almost puts a C tier, but I'm also not a fan of many Electro reactions until I played Flynn's, so I'm gonna put a D tier. In fact, I'm pretty much, Electro is my least favorite element. If it wasn't for Flynn's, the element would be dead to me. So she goes to D tier. Sigwin, she's cute. She's a healer, but I feel like she wasn't very useful when she came out. She was pretty much relegated to D tier. Her cuteness saves her and puts her at least C tier. She's so cute, it could be almost B tier, but for me personally, C tier. Moivika, definite A tier if not S tier. Her story in Natlan is so good though. She is the game's strongest DPS. In fact, it has to be S tier. I'm sorry, I'm a fraud. The fact that I thought Moivika was almost A tier or anything below, okay, this tier list is cooked. I'm a fraud if I put her in A tier, but I didn't. I put her in S tier, so maybe this is saved. Mulani, design's very fun. She's also one of the funniest characters in the game, I feel. Her travel mechanic is one of the best. Well, I'm gonna put an A tier. Kachina, she's a bit too plain and simple, you know, naive, young character who doesn't believe in themselves but is actually quite strong, just need to have more confidence. That is a pretty cool angle, but it's been done a lot. The gloves, her middens are adorable though, and a spinning top, B tier. Actually, you know, I do like, she's pretty fun to play, and to be honest, her story is good. It's just we've seen it too many times, but I'm gonna put her A tier actually. So Kanish is pretty useful in terms of his role for burn teams, right? Best in slot, as far as I know. If it wasn't for his dragon, Ajor, pretty sure it's Ajor. Is it right? Oh god, guys, how do you pronounce it? Let me check this. I'm a fake Genshin player. Ahor. I'm pretty sure it's Ahor. I do not like Ahor. And I know it's by design that Ahor's a very annoying character, especially by the voice. And in that regard, the voice actor nails it, right? It's one of the best voice acting jobs that Genshin's ever done, or performances. But at the same time, he's designed to be annoying. So it does grate on my nerves a bit. And I'm sorry, Kanish, he goes into D tier. I'm sorry, everyone, but that's the case. Xylonan, despite the fact that I sacrificed her, the design's pretty good. Best in slot. This is going to sound strange, because if I was going to rank her just based on how useful her travel mechanic is, she'll be in S tier. So for those who don't know, she gives a wooer-like travel mechanic where you can climb walls, incredibly useful for exploration. But because of the fact that it's quite hobbled outside of Natlan, and because they showed it exclusively to her, I'm actually going to put her in A tier. If it was more accessible, more universal, in fact, if it was shared with another character, I'd actually put her in S tier. But because of that, I'm going to put her in A tier. Chaska, flying mechanic. Design is pretty good. Anemo, voice actress, does a great job. But for me personally, I'm gonna put her A or B tier. It's one of the two. Just nothing particularly stands out for me about her. But I'm gonna put B tier because hat. If anyone has a hat, it almost always moves them up a tier. Hidden bit of trivia for you guys. Auron. I actually kind of like his personality. It's very unique as well, the fact that you can't really tell if he's being serious or not. Actually gonna put Auron A tier. I think he's actually pretty good. I love a lot of his scenes, and every time he comes in the story, I enjoy it a lot. Almost A tier, almost S tier actually. I'm gonna put him A tier. Sitlali, S tier, without a doubt. Sitlali is the best character or my most favorite character in Genshin. Incredibly adorable, beautiful. She's got plushies. The fact that she uses them to fight, and the whole mechanic behind her riding her pillow, riding the plushie, and her interactions with the Traveler. She's almost certainly like she might end up being the canon ship with the Traveler. Actually, her story about her as well, and how long she's lived and all the experience with that. She's everyone's favorite granny without a doubt, and the best waifu in the game, in my opinion. So Lali is definitely S tier. Lanya, no, she's from Liyue. Her design is really good. She's also pretty useful. I haven't seen too much of her in the story though, which is not really her fault, because she's a newer character and they haven't utilized her to her full potential, but there hasn't been enough to really make her stand out for me. I'm gonna actually put a B tier. Mizuki. I'm gonna put Mizuki as actually C tier. C tier. She's not quite D. Varessa. I wasn't a fan of her design when she launched actually, but she's really fun to play, and all the interactions I've had with her throughout her story quest, through the events, I'm gonna actually put her at A tier. I'm surprised. I thought she would be lower when I first saw the character's design. Okay, let's see. Lansan. I really don't know too much about Lansan. But she doesn't strike me as anything particularly impressive. To be fair, I need to finish an Outland story. I've done parts of the Archon quest. Also had to use her in events. Not bad, nothing special. C tier. Escovier. Ooh, might be S tier actually. I'll put her A tier. It's very close to being S tier. I love her design, being a chef and her hat. The tail thing seems a bit confusing for me. I know they've got a lot of characters there who do have tails, part of their body. I guess because they're closer to animals, or they're not quite human, I should say. You know, there might be, it kind of gives a succubus vibe, if that makes sense, but that doesn't really fit with her personality too much. Though she is a bit feisty, she's not evil in any way, right? She's more like fierce rather than seductress. So it doesn't really fit too well, and they tried to make it into a utensil to make it more relevant because she's a chef, she cooks. But I'm gonna put her A tier, if that makes sense. All right. Ifa. Ifa, because of his pet, rates on my nerves a bit. I would put him in D tier, but his performance in one of the Genshin events I actually thought was quite funny. His voice actor also does a pretty good job. Saves it, in my opinion. Yeah, if it wasn't for the voice actor, D tier, but his voice actor did such a good job. C there. I don't even know who this guy is. His name starts with D, if I remember right. I don't really know anything about him. I think he might get automatic C tier for that reason alone. Apparently he gives a somewhat unique mechanic. When he gives a shield, it allows you to increase your attack speed, which very few characters have. He's also a 4-star Natlan character. He came out during Natlan, during Skirk's banner, but he's associated with Mondstadt. Ooh, maybe we should... It's too late. He's included in Natlan now, but I'll put him D tier. Sorry, guys. Nothing about him is interesting to me. Skirk! Oh, in terms of... Skirk might actually be A tier, as strange as it sounds. Like, I love Skirk. She's actually my highest performing team. She's very fun to play, and her design is S tier, if we were to base it on just her design alone. But unfortunately, she was part of a push by Genshin to make very restrictive teams, particularly reaction-based teams that require a very hard, very restrictive, needs of multiple or at least one specific support to make her function. In fact, almost all freeze teams need Escovier. And in fact, if we can go back, because of metal, Escovier is so useful, she should be S tier, because meta teams are pretty much only competitive with her. But at the same time, it's also a negative because of the restriction. So actually, I'm going to put Escovier as S tier, and I'm going to put Skirk as A tier. Skirk suffers or is knocked down a peg because of Escovier, but Escovier is, you know, she regained her spot in S tier. Alright, Loma. Ooh, S tier. easily. I regret not pulling for her. Top tier waifu, top tier in terms of meta. Design's awesome. Everything I've seen from her in the story so far makes her seem like a really interesting character. S tier. Columbina. Well, she's not playable right now, so I'm gonna cheap out. Not include it in the list. We'll revisit this list later. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to re-record this video anyway. So we'll see. Inefa. Voice actress nails it with the robotic monotone voice that's still enjoyable to listen to, but it's not particularly interesting, if that makes sense. Design is pretty unique, pretty cool, but definitely nothing above A tier for me, and she might actually be B tier. Yeah, I'm gonna put Inefa as B tier, actually. I know, S tier, easily. Possibly the cutest character in Genshin. The only one the only character that competes with her would be Nahida. But I don't know. I know I might just take the crown. We'll have to see. I have a feeling that as we progress more during Notcry, we'll find out more about her and she'll have more opportunities to shine. But regardless, she's definitely S tier for me. Flynn's S tier. I think he's the best husbando, or the most attractive husbando. Very fun to play, although I still don't use him properly or enough. Very strong DPS. His voice actor is possibly tied with Ito's for the best male voice actor. He might actually be the best. A fantastic character in many regards. Definitely S tier. Nefa? I think her name is Nefa, I'm pretty sure. Okay. I should know the latest character. So for those who don't know, as of the time of making this video, she's actually the current limited banner. I think that's it for playable characters. We have Duran, and I don't even know what her name is. We've got Sandroni, though. We've got the Travelers. Do I include the Travelers? Technically, they're playable characters, but they get default D tier because you're forced to use them during some story cutscenes, but at the same time, I don't know how to classify them. And Hydro Traveler exists, so I'm sorry. Automatic D tier if I've got to include all the elements as one, right? If I had to include Dendro, and plus they don't have Pyro Traveler, what the heck, right? I know it's for lore reasons, but it's all over the shop. If I was allowed to include them just separately as Dendro, maybe A tier, probably B tier, but because Hydro exists and I have to include it, D tier. And I think that's it. That's the tier list. So, let me know what you guys thought about it. Any improvements I can make, what you would like to see. Were my opinions, were my takes good, or were they terrible? Let us know down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time.